for our 55th author interaction today. And I'm Neeta Aneja, and I'm the founder of Trends, which is the platform for art, cultural, social, and literary experiences. We shall be discussing today the new book, Balakot Airstrike, How India Avenged the Pulwama. This is a work of fiction, though dedicated to the 40 CRPF Jawans who made the supreme sacrifice at Pulwama on 14 February 2019. And as you all know, we remember this date always with a very, very heavy heart. The book has been authored by the guest author of today, Mr. Manan Bhatt. Manan is an Indian Navy veteran. He's a graduate of Saurashtra University, having served on board frigates and corvettes with 15 years of experience under his belt. That includes service during Kargil War and Operation Parakram, and also assignments at the integrated headquarters of Defense in DRDO. He's continuously, in fact, working still and striving for rehabilitation and settlement of widows, children, and families of war victims. So welcome, Manan. I must salute you for the illustrious work that you have done for our great nation, Bharat.
Thank you, Neeta ma'am. It's an honor to be here. This is a very, it is a coveted platform. I've seen the profile, such big authors have been here, and it's great because as we spoke earlier, every book has a story, and there is also a story behind every book. So it's great to be here, ma'am, and it would be very interesting to talk with the readers, to interact with the readers, to interact with you regarding my book.
Thank you so much, Manan, for such kind words. But before I delve into this conversation, I must tell everyone that you have a chance to win around 5 books of this wonderful book, Balakot Airstrike. This has been published by Garuda Prakashan, and they've been really kind enough to sponsor all the 5 books. So all you have to do is you have to subscribe to the YouTube channel Trends Events, which is a platform for, as I just mentioned, for author interactions. You can post a review on one of the videos, and you can send your name and phone number on 9810518886 and 8866. And for all you know, you might be winning this book and you might be reading it. And I'm reading this book, and let me tell you, this is an easy read and you must read it. So Manan, I will get into my conversation straight away because there's so much to ask and there'll be few interactive questions as well. So what made you write this racy? You know, the book really touches the grief and anger of the Pulwama victims. And as I just mentioned some time back, we remember that incident with so much of heavy heart still.
That's true, ma'am. I don't think any person, any single individual in India was untouched by the events that happened, the terror attack that happened, and which resulted in the death of 40 CRPF Jawans.
Right.
It was a heinous terror attack which touched which angered every Indian, which saddened every Indian. So here was an incident that eventually resulted in India's fight back. A terror fight back which had never happened. India never crossed LOC or the international border by using their own, the Air Force during peacetime. So India's fight against terror took an entire new turn. But what basically motivated me, like any other Indian soldier, the sacrifices that the Pulwama martyrs had to make, something that you don't expect. You don't want your soldiers to die in such a way. We want our soldiers to fight, and those were CRPF. Those were policemen. They were there for peacekeeping. They didn't go there to fight any war. They were not there for it. They were there for peacekeeping. And what happened was कि after Pulwama attack के कुछ महीनों बाद there was a news story. There was a small video where a survivor of the attack, who was the driver of a bus which was traveling just next to the attacked bus, ill-fated bus. his name is Iqbal Singh. He is a real person. He fed his own tiffin, his own lunchbox, mass provided tiffin, which was provided to him by the CRPF, while he was on duty in a conflict area in downtown Srinagar, with his own bare hands to a local Kashmiri child, a small kid who was paraplegic. And his humanity, the humanity of this CRPF trooper touched my heart to the core. It moved me. It just as it many of us, many of the readers, many of the people who are watching this video might be remembering that video. So many people might have forgotten it, but it touched my heart to the core. I thought that a person whose brethren, whose colleagues were attacked and killed by the very Kashmiris, has got no hatred in his heart against those people, and he is feeding this boy. During a time when they were continuously under attack by stone pelters, arsonists, still he had this humanity to feed this the local kid with his own hands. So the humanity of the forces always touch a core in any Indian, and this is what Indian armed forces are about. Humanity makes us different from or any other armed forces in the world, and it doesn't need any advertisement. It doesn't need any certificates. It is there. It is a basic Indian virtue. So Iqbal Singh's story inspired me to look through the entire terror attack and the events that followed through his eyes. So I started to think about it. I started to do research, and quite a lot of interesting things popped up. It started as a journey for me the day Iqbal fed that kid.
So very right. I think we still remember, and I think it'll be a very, very difficult incident ever to get over. You know, what I really liked about your book was that apart from the fact that it has a very engrossing timeline and the way you've written the book, it is divided into 62 short chapters. So what happens is that, you know, as soon as you finish one chapter, you go on to the other, you feel, yes, you've completed, and this is your motivation to keep on going. So did you plan it very strategically, or how was it? I mean, why so many chapters in a short book? I would say it's not a very thick book. It's readable. You can just take a day and finish it. So why 62 chapters? I mean, was there any inspiration behind that? Was it any strategic thing behind it?
Thank you, Neeta ma'am. Actually, just a day back, yesterday, I asked a reader who read this book tagged me and sent a tweet that it has got so many small chapters that and it is so much simplified that each and every reader, irrespective of even if the reader has no connection with the armed forces or he is not a defense enthusiast, he knows nothing. If I consider somebody who is not a defense enthusiast or he is not in a armed force, still he should be able to comprehend the details, the storyline, because these events, although we have given a disclaimer that it is a fiction, but every Indian from his heart knows that what has happened, and I cannot fake a story just because I am a writer. I am a soldier myself, and a soldier like from my heart. I'll remain a soldier from my heart till the day I die. And I put down my uniform, hung my boots, but I'm still a soldier from my heart. So it has to be told in a way that I believe I felt it, and I believe that the story has to be understood. I don't want to be just a military historian or a military writer who will write it in a very stringent way and not make people feel the entirety of the entire spectrum of the events. These are 3 different events. It was very difficult to tie them up together. And this book is of national interest, something which has happened. Like the US has their own Black Hawk Down. They have books, so many books on 9/11. So many events militarily. They have recreated them with taking so much liberties. I as a soldier, I don't believe in taking too many liberties. So event by event, minute by minute, second by second, I try to deconstruct the entire spectrum of event from my point of view, from a point of view of an Indian soldier. So this is how it came out. And one fine day, my editor said, my publisher said that you need to, you need to name chapters. So एक दिन बैठ के बस chapter बना दिए. So it was very simple for me. I'm a simple person, so I wanted to simplify things and say it in a manner so that each one of the readers should be able to comprehend, should be able to connect with the book, the characters, and the events.
Well, I totally appreciate it, and it makes for us readers to kind of really comprehend it and take it in very easily. I really would like to ask you. You've been a soldier, you are a Navy veteran, you've been part of such wars which everyone remembers. So, what was your feeling when this incident happened? How did you feel about it? I know, as a common citizen, we felt very, absolutely crestfallen. What was your emotion? How did you feel at that moment of time when this happened?
Whenever I even think about the Pulwama incident, I feel devastated. I feel saddened, and my eyes are filled with moisture. So because tears, because this should not have happened. Or every Indian soldier would relate with me, because I think every Indian would relate with me rather, because your 40 countrymen are gone for nothing, and so much of hatred from a single individual, which resulted in this heinous crime, should have been averted and should never repeat. So this is Pulwama. When I wrote about the Pulwama incident, the actual incident, the blast, I couldn't sleep for 3 days. When I did research about the people who were involved, when I researched about the last journey of the Pulwama bus, the ill-fated bus, I went through bios. I interviewed people. I interviewed the families of the Pulwama martyrs, and everyone had a story. So it touched me. It moved me. There are stories like every other Indian. When the blast happened, I was aghast. I was shocked. But what happens is, over a period of time, we get away from it. समय बहुत बड़े-बड़े घावों को भर देता है, ऐसे कहते हैं ना. बट जो परिवार हैं, जो फैमिलीज हैं, उनके घाव कभी नहीं भरते. जो those that wait, वो वेट कभी खत्म नहीं होता, वो कभी they never return. So उनके परिवारों के ये घावों को समझना मेरे लिए आसान थोड़ा इसलिए रहा ये, और टफ, मुझे साइकोलॉजिकली मेरे लिए बहुत टफ था. जब भी टेरर अटैक होता है तो मुझे काफी मैं थोड़ा सेंसिटिव, एज अ राइटर मैं थोड़ा सेंसिटिव हूँ, तो मुझे वो बहुत ज्यादा असर भी करता है. और ये मेरे लिए एक ड्राइविंग फोर्स रहता है कि मैं उनके बारे में, उनके परिवारों के बारे में आई ब्रिंग दोज थिंग्स टू द फोर, ताकि आम लोगों को पता चले. और पुलवामा के बाद भी यही हुआ कि आई हैड दिस ड्राइविंग अर्ज कि आई हैव टू टेल दिस स्टोरी, आई हैव टू टेल दिस डिवास्टेटिंग स्टोरी टू द पीपल ऑफ इंडिया. और क्या होता है मैम इंडिया में, व्हाट हैपेंस इज कि पीपल राइट अबाउट, यू हैव पीपल राइट अबाउट उरी सर्जिकल स्ट्राइक, बट हम पठानकोट को भूल जाते हैं. हम उरी के ऐसा नहीं है, उस पठानकोट में भी रिजॉल्व था, उरी में भी रिजॉल्व था, और पुलवामा में ह्यूमैनिटी थी. तो हर टेरर अटैक में जो सोल्जर शहीद होता है, बलिदान देता है, उस सोल्जर की भी एक कहानी होती है. वो टेरर अटैक हो सकता है कि आई मीन वी लॉस्ट सो मेनी लाइव्स, सो बट दैट वाज नॉट अ डिफीट. वो डिफीट नहीं थी, क्योंकि इवन इन 62 वॉर को इंडिया की डिफीट कहा जाता है, बट दैट वाज नॉट अ डिफीट. उसमें भी लोगों ने लड़ाइयां लड़ी हैं. देयर वर लास्ट स्टैंड्स. सो एवरी दिस व्हाट माय बिलीफ इज दैट एवरी स्टोरी, every military story has a something that touches that should touch core of every Indian, and that should reach out to every Indian. Ji.
A big salute to you and all the Indian soldiers who are serving our nation. And we are with you. And your book will always remain as a record for what happened to us, what happened to Pulwama, what happened in Pulwama. So a big salute to you, sir, and hats off to you for writing this book, and hats off to your service to the nation. So coming to the book, which has been, would like to have a glass of water. Yes. So coming back to the book, which has been published by Garuda Prakashan, Balakotairstrike. You know, there are no survivors from the ill-fated CRPF bus that was attacked by the suicide bomber at Pulwama. So how did you manage to tell the story of these martyred Jawans? Because it was a fateful journey, but there were no survivors. So, and you know, it ended with a blast on 14th February. So how did you connect the dots?
It's a very valid question, ma'am. A few seniors of mine also asked me this question. How can it be possible? As a soldier, I have traveled through such kind of military buses, paramilitary military buses, through entire my life. I find whenever I think about Pulwama, I find myself sitting in the very ill-fated bus. So this is how it inspired me. I went to villages of the Pulwama martyrs, and I met with their families. There were videos, last videos. There was a soldier, Sukhjinder Singh, head constable Sukhjinder Singh. He sent out a WhatsApp video call. He called his wife, and she didn't respond. Maybe she was busy somewhere. He shot a video from using his mobile phone. He took in his video the entire bus sitting position is revealed. So this is how somebody was talking to his wife on phone. Somebody sent a recorded video message. Somebody sent a phone call, which was somehow as in the times of Android phones, there are certain default functions where phone calls are recorded. So I was able to fathom quite a few things which were slowly and gradually reconstructing the entire set of events that happened during the last journey of those Jawans who were seated in the fateful bus. And you know, ma'am, when through that last video of Head Constable Sukhjinder Singh, I was able to understand that like entire India doesn't know, और शायद रीडर भी नहीं समझ पाए कि उस फैनेटिक इस्लामिक आतंकी ने जिस बंदे को सबसे पहले मारा, उस बस के लेफ्ट साइड में, जहां पे जैसे हम कहते हैं कंडक्टर सीट, उस जगह पे जो बंदा बैठा हुआ था बस का सिक्योरिटी कमांडर, उसका नाम था नसीर। सबसे पहले एक इस्लामिक आतंकी ने जिसको मारा, वो जो सबसे पहला बंदा मारा बस के कोने में, बस का जो कमांडर था वो नसीर था, वो लोकल कश्मीरी था। उससे क्या तुम्हारी दिक्कत थी? वो कोई आप उसके जो आतंकी का जो लास्ट वीडियो है, इट सेज कि ही वांटेड टू किल काफिर्स, बट द फर्स्ट पर्सन दैट ही किल्स, he was a believer, Nasir Ahmed, head constable Nasir Ahmed. So when such dots are connected through, people might be saying ये कैसे possible है, but when you know, जब लोग चले जाते हैं एक ऐसी बस की जो केवल फुटबॉल का बड़ा बॉल बन के रहेगी थी, एक काला, आपने उसके अगर विजुअल्स इन लोगों ने देखे होंगे पुलवामा के, nothing left of the occupants, nothing was left. So many of bodies were even not identifiable, but still in the sense of time, these martyrs, these people, they had left their marks. It is left for us to realize them, to see their marks. तो वो मार्क्स मैं जब रियलाइज करने के लिए मेरी एक समय ने एक मेरा लक रहा, या आई मस्ट से दैट उनके फैमिलीज ने इतना कोऑपरेट किया, दे गेव मी देयर मोबाइल फोन्स, उन्होंने वो अपने ये सब चीजें मुझे दी, और आई वाज लकी इनफ कि आई वाज एबल टू रिकंस्ट्रक्ट द इवन द सिटिंग अरेंजमेंट ऑफ द बस. So I thought that was my calling. Now nothing should stop me. No, nothing in the world, no fate can stop me from writing about the entire event, because I think it was like God calling for me. So fate has it.
It is very difficult to listen to this storyline, because I can understand your feelings. I can understand how sensitively you've written the book and how sensitive you feel about the whole issue. And as I just mentioned before, we're all with you. We're with all the soldiers who fought with the country and are fighting still for the country. So you've given so much insight on the planning stage of the Balakot anti-terror operation. So what was the reason behind it?
Actually, I'm an ME. मैं POME था नेवी में. So हमारा काम जो है वो बॉयलर रूम में रहता है. हम we stay inside. हम ना मिसाइलों के बटन दबाते हैं, ना टरेट फायर करते हैं, so ना टॉर्पेडो फायर करते हैं. So I like, मुझे जो लोग बैकग्राउंड में काम करते हैं ना, उनके बारे में लोगों को बताना बड़ा अच्छा लगता है. मैं बहुत इंटरेस्टिंग मुझे फील होता है, और कि हम समझते हैं कि चलिए बालाकोट में देवर दिस मेनी पायलट्स हु वेंट देयर. अभिनंदन सर थे, लेटर ऑन नेक्स्ट डे अभिनंदन सर थे who fought very well with Alpha 1, and they were Avenger 1 and Avenger 2 also. But behind the screen, eventually the pilot or the soldier has infantry soldier has to go out and fight. But there are when comes to Balakot, like major strike against terror, there is so much of planning. This is it's not that you just go and press a button and spice bomb goes and just destroys the enemy formation. See, it's a very intriguing planning that goes on, and government is very strict. There were direct orders from the Prime Minister that there should not be any collateral damage to any civilians or the army or air force facilities of Pakistan. Air Force had very strict orders. So the behind the scene planning was very important, and I wanted to give a sneak peek to the readers, because ऐसे कहा जाता है कि इंडिया में ऐसा ऑथेंटिक मिलिट्री राइटिंग है नहीं, और है तो वो इतना ज्यादा टफ है. जैसे कि I remember reading few books from senior general officers, and initially when I started writing way back in 2014-15, मैं वो बुक के 2-3 पन्ने पढ़ के सो जाया करता था. So I know how difficult वो technical writing बहुत difficult होती है. So I went through a lot of books, around 125 books from Iraq war, Afghanistan war, from Syria airstrikes, and gave my मेरा भी जो थोड़ा बहुत जो नेवी का मेरा एक्सपीरियंस है उसको यूज करके I try to reconstruct the entire planning process. By और साथ में ये भी कोशिश की है कि जो रियल प्लानर्स थे उनको भी मैं अपना ट्रिब्यूट, अपना सैल्यूट दे सकूं. और आई सेंट, मैं नाम नहीं लूंगा, बट एक बहुत सीनियर नहीं बट सुपीरियर ऑफिसर को मैंने बुक का जो इनिशियल ड्राफ्ट भेजा, एंड हिज रिस्पॉन्स वाज वेरी lukewarm. He said, "This is your work." So I was very disappointed. I thought there is something very major amiss in the planning stage. So I went on to the drawing board, and then came a interview, then came a article from 2 senior officers about the planning stage, because by the time they were long retired, and I think they might have got permissions from the government. So on the occasion of first anniversary, there came an article from a senior officer about the planning process and stage. Then again, on the second anniversary also, there was an article of planning of the strikes. Then I went through details of every officer who was given gallantry award for the Pulwama Balakot Air attack. एवरी एयरफोर्स ऑफिसर जितने भी थे ना, उनके सबके प्रोफाइल देखता रहा कि उनको उनका साइटेशन कैसा है, और पढ़ता रहा उनको क्या, उनकी डेजिग्नेशन क्या थी उस समय, सपोज कौन से किस डिपार्टमेंट के डायरेक्टर थे, कौन चीफ ऑफ आर्मी स्टाफ थे, और उनका क्या रोल रहा होगा। फिर कैबिनेट मीटिंग जो CCS 2-3 हुई थी उस दौरान, आई वेंट थ्रू उसका पूरा डिटेल पढ़ता रहा। फिर NIA की पूरी चार्जशीट, ये सब लाइक हर एक छोटी छोटी चीज को पढ़ के 1 दिन 2 दिन 1 महीना ऐसे करके रिकंस्ट्रक्ट करते हुए आई वाज एबल टू reconstruct the entire planning process up to a certain satisfaction of my senior officers and superior officers, because मैं सरप्राइजिंगली बताना चाहूंगा बिना नाम लिए कि मुझे एक उस प्लानिंग के जो आर्किटेक्ट थे, वन ऑफ द आर्किटेक्ट्स, एक सुपीरियर ऑफिसर जो कि उस बालाकोट एयर स्ट्राइक के प्लानिंग के मेन आर्किटेक्ट थे, he sent me a DM saying great work.
Fantastic.
There is a need for improvement, but great work. So this is the biggest compliment I think one can get for his work.
No, I can totally understand this, because you've written this book with so much of passion, and the kind of research work you've done. This can definitely be used as a record book for this, anti-terror, the way the research and the way the facts you've mentioned. I think awesome work, Manan, for this.
Thank you, ma'am.
The operation carried out by IAF on Balakot was named as Operations Bandar. So was there any specific reason to the name, or it was just a random naming?
ये पता है मैम, हमारे जो उस समय जो एयर चीफ थे धनोआ सर, इंटरव्यू में तो मैं सर का नाम ले सकता हूँ, हम शायद बुक में नहीं ले सकते, बट ही सर एक लीगेसी है धनोआ सर की, उनके नीचे जिन्होंने काम किया है, क्योंकि मैं धनोआ सर के ऊपर और उनकी लीगेसी के ऊपर, उनकी कमांड किस तरह की रही है उसके ऊपर आई हैव बीन रिसर्चिंग सिंस माय प्रीवियस बुक दैट वाज ऑन कारगिल. माय फर्स्ट बुक वाज ऑन कारगिल वॉर. It was a work of research. It wasn't claimed as fiction. It was a proper work of research. So I have known quite a few people who have served under the then Chief of Air Staff, and he has this knack of saying jokes around, and he's no nonsense person, but he is probably the most respected person at the time when he was a Chief of Army Staff. Even before that, his connect with his juniors, his connect with the airmen was so much, and so much of respect was there for him. कि ये उनकी इंजेन्यूटी है सर की, कि उन्होंने जो वहां पे हरि कुमार सर थे उनको कहा था कि जब काम हो जाए तो बता देना, मुझे फोन पे बोल देना बंदर. So this is the ingenuity of a superior officer, कि मुझे बोल देना बंदर, तो I will understand कि काम हो गया है. So this is how it went.
Okay, that's why I was wondering. I mean, why, this is how it was. Why was, this is a very important question, and it has come to me several times when this thing was happening, Balakot anti-terror strike. So why was Balakot chosen for the airstrike as retaliation of Pulwama terrorist attack? Why Balakot? Why not any other region? Why this?
Balakot has a very important place for terror tanzeems. जैश के लिए बालाकोट बहुत important, उनके लिए it was closer to heart. जैसे उनका I should not take names, but उनके लिए ना ये it was very like a pilgrimage for them. So और आप मानेंगे नहीं, बालाकोट से associated ओसामा बिन लादेन का connection मिला है. He was the main fundraiser of this Balakot camp. बालाकोट से अल-कायदा, जैश-ए-मोहम्मद, लश्कर-ए-तैयबा, ये सब अपना कहीं ना कहीं रिलेशन पाते हैं, और ये ग्लोबल जिहाद का एक केंद्र है. ये it's a historic center of global jihad. So I think from Mr. Ajit Doval to the Chief of Air Staff, everybody wanted to have a pie of Balakot. So it was like a seat of terror, which was very significant. It was very significant to destroy this seat of terror. उनको टेररिस्ट को ना इतना दर्द दो कि अगली बार हमला करने से पहले 4 बार सोचे. ये this is what India wanted. Or there were some other targets also, and I know that Indian Air Force has those targets in their range. Jaguars were flown, and somehow next time वो लोग abort करके वापस नहीं आने वाले हैं.
I can see the pride in your face. I can, by that name, and I'm sure all the other officers involved in this airstrike felt the same. So what type of weaponry was used in this attack, and what was the damage on enemy assets? If you can divulge that. If it is a secret, then I would not like you to say.
No, Spice 2000 bombs are no secret. India ने ये Israel made Spice 2000 bombs use किए थे, जो कि सेल्फ प्रोपेल एक हवा के मदद से फ्लाई करते हैं और दुश्मन के टारगेट पे जाके उन्होंने हिट किया. इट्स नो कहते हैं ना, एज दे से दैट जो हो गया वो हिस्ट्री है और बहुत बड़ी हिस्ट्री है. और उसमें वो पेनिट्रेटर बॉम्ब है और हवा से फ्लाई होके गाइड होके जाता है. उसके अंदर काफी एडवांस सिस्टम फिटेड रहते हैं. वो अपनी टारगेट की इमेज को देख के जीपीएस और इमेज की मदद से वो अपने टारगेट को आइडेंटिफाई करता है स्पाइस 2000. और दुश्मन के जो मैस इनको ये कहेंगे कि उनकी जो डॉर्मेटरीज थी जहाँ पे ये आतंकी सो रहे थे, वहां पे स्ट्राइक किया एंड नथिंग वाज लेफ्ट ऑफ देम. एनटीआरओ की रिपोर्ट्स बताती है कि उस समय वहां पे 350 से ज्यादा मोबाइल फोन्स एक्टिव थे. सो इट वुड नॉट बी रॉन्ग टू से, जैसे कि हमारे होम मिनिस्टर ने भी कहा था कि हमारा बैटल डैमेज असेसमेंट जिसे बीडीए कहते हैं, दैट इज अराउंड 300 to 350 किल. और उसमें बहुत बड़े आतंकी जैसे कि जो यूसुफ था, मसूद अजहर का बहनोई, उसको खत्म कर दिया गया था, यूसुफ अजहर को. वो बहुत बड़ा अचीवमेंट था. और बहुत सारे ऐसे फिदाइन आतंकी या दूसरे आतंकी जो कि भारत पे हमला करने की, दे वर वेटिंग टू अटैक इंडिया, इन्फिल्ट्रेट इन इंडिया एंड स्टार्ट अ रेन ऑफ टेरर, दे वर एलिमिनेटेड देन एंड देयर. और आतंकियों के उनके मन में, उनके आकाओं के मन में इतना बड़ी दहशत बैठी है, वो उस दिन से आज तक ठंड मार के बैठे हुए.
I understand. So do we rate the Operation Bandar a success, given that a lot of political dispensations expressed apprehensions about its impact?
It is definitely a success. Politics should not have been played against a military operation. It was I feel that it is very unfortunate, because it gives the enemy, whenever you involve politics, whenever you talk politics, when about military exercises, military operations, the enemy gets power from it. So it should not have happened. यूएस ने विड्रॉल किया, फिर भी कहीं से यूएस इतना बड़ा विड्रॉल, इतनी बड़ी अफगानिस्तान से विड्रॉल हुआ, कहीं से उनकी, ठीक है ट्रम्प के थोड़े ट्वीट्स आ रहे हैं, बट कहीं से विपक्ष से इतनी बड़ी आवाजें नहीं आ रही है, ना ही उनके फ्रंटलाइन उसमें से इतना ठीक है कंडेमेशन उसका वो विड्रॉल था. बट अफगानिस्तान पे जब उन्होंने पहले अटैक एंड फॉर द 20 years तक उन्होंने उस पर शासन किया, तब कभी यूएस इंटरेस्ट, गवर्नमेंट्स कम, रिपब्लिक आए, डेमोक्रेट्स आए, गवर्नमेंट्स कम एंड गो, बट यूएस इंटरेस्ट नेवर चेंज. दिस इज हाउ आई थिंक इंडिया शुड आल्सो हैव इंडियन इंटरेस्ट. Government should come and go, but Indian interest should never change. And military of the day, any armed force, any paramilitary force, we are here to serve the constitution, the country. और हमारे जो भी एक्शंस हैं उन पे फेथ होना चाहिए. इट शुड नॉट बी ये जिस तरह से जो आवाजें उठाई गई, जो डाउट्स कराए गए, वो थोड़ा ठीक नहीं है. इंटरनेशनली तो हम जानते ही हैं कि काफी सारे बड़े इंटरनेशनल मीडिया हाउसेस हैं, they have soft corner for Pakistan, and they have been propagating Pakistan's cause. Even अभी भी right now we are seeing कि अफगानिस्तान में जो टेररिस्ट थे उनको पहले इंसर्जेंट्स करके बता दिया गया, और इवेंचुअली अब तालिबान को पहले थोड़ा सॉफ्ट करके इंसर्जेंट, और राइट नाउ उन्हें एक्सट्रीमिस्ट भी नहीं कहा जाता, अभी तो वो नेता बन के आ गए हैं. सो ये थोड़ा सा ठीक नहीं है. आप एक तरफ टेररिज्म को व्हाइट वॉश किया जाता है, एंड दूसरी तरफ जो मिलिट्री है उसकी जो प्रतिबद्धता है उस पे आवाज उठाना, उसके लिए ये इस तरह की पॉलिटिक्स करना इज नॉट प्रॉपर.
I totally understand this. Any other important takeaway from the book which the readers should have? I mean, and also the second part of the question is, what are your future plans in writing? What are you writing already? You've written on Kargil War. You've written now such a fantastic book on Balakotairstrike, how India avenged Pulwama. Now what? Now what do we get from it?
First, ma'am, book has many takeaways. Basically, book is based on lives of our national heroes. So every hero had a story. Everybody, right from Iqbal Singh to Nasir Ahmed to Wing Commander Abhi, everybody tells a story. They should it should inspire young and every Indian to be like them, to be selfless, to be brave. As a writer, also, when I just think about Wing Commander Abhinandan shouting Bharat Mata Ki Jai in front of 500 strong Pakistani crowd, my chest is filled with so much of proud कि लोग सोशल मीडिया में डालते हैं कि उन्हें जब जनगण मन बजता है थिएटर्स में तो उन्हें खड़े होने में दिक्कत होती है। तो आप सोचिए कि वो बंदा वहां जाके जनगण मन बोल के आया दुश्मन की कैद में एज ए प्रिजनर ऑफ वॉर। सो एवरी टाइम जय हिंद बोला जाए या जनगण मन बोला जाए, भारत माता की जय, वंदे मातरम बोला जाए, वी शुड फील प्राउड। सो दिस इज अ बिग मैसेज। वो मैं नहीं दे रहा हूँ, आई थिंक द पीपल हु सर्व या जो हमारे नेशनल हीरोज हैं, जो ये बंदे हैं जो इसमें इन्वॉल्व है, वो दे आर गिविंग दिस मैसेज। सो उनकी लाइफ स्टोरी है, उनका मैसेज है, और ये बोल के नहीं कहा है, उन्होंने करके दिखाया है। सो आई थिंक इट इज अ टेक अवे फॉर मी ऑल्सो। Since the day I retired, even during service, I have always wished my seniors and superiors as Jai Hind sir. And since the day I retired, I ensure that I greet each and every person as Jai Hind sir. So this is a big takeaway, ma'am. For my next project, I have so many things in my hand at present. As I write regular op-eds in Mumbai Samachar and Ulchab. These are two very 200 years old Gujarati newspapers. I write in daily op-eds, weekly op-eds in them. Otherwise, on the book front, Kargil War has a lot of things to be said. There are so many stories which are required to be told to people. I've written about Kargil in Gujarati, so I wish कि मैं थोड़ा और मैं कारगिल पे मैंने जो लिखा है it's वो बहुत यूनिक फॉर्मेट में है, बटालियन वाइज स्टोरी है। लाइक अगर मैं 18 ग्रेनेडियर की बात करता हूँ तो आई हैव इंटरव्यूड ब्रिगेडियर खुशहाल ठाकुर, आई हैव इंटरव्यूड परमवीर चक्र योगेंद्र सिंह यादव जी एंड सम अदर ऑफिसर्स एंड सोल्जर्स। सो उनकी स्टोरी में उनकी नजर से कहता हूँ कि उनके जो शहीद साथी थे वो कैसे लड़े थे, या योगेंद्र सिंह यादव के बारे में अगर मैं पूछता हूँ तो खुशहाल सर से पूछता हूँ, और खुशहाल सर के बारे में मुझे लिखना है तो मैं फिर किसी और से पूछता हूँ। इस तरह से आई रिक्रिएट स्टोरीज ऑफ दिस हीरोज, मैं उनके खुद नहीं पूछता। दिस इज, और अगर मैं 8 सिख के बारे में लिखता हूँ तो मैं सुखविंदर सिंह सर से पूछता हूँ। अगर इफ आई एम राइटिंग अबाउट टू राजरीफ तो आई हैव इंटरव्यूड लेफ्टिनेंट कर्नल एम.बी. रविंद्रनाथ सर, और फिर उसके बाद मैंने उनके एक और साथी थे जिन्होंने रविंद्रनाथ सर के बारे में बताया कि उनकी लीडरशिप क्वालिटी कैसी थी। अनफॉर्चुनेटली हम रविंद्रनाथ सर को गंवा चुके हैं, वी हैव लॉस्ट हिम टू हार्ट अटैक, वो बेंगलोर में सेटल थे। सो ये एवरी पल्टन हैड अ स्टोरी हु फॉट इन कारगिल, even the Army Air Defense Corps, they had a story. Even the Army aviators, they had their own stories. Air Force has a very गजब की, वो एंटरटेनिंग भी है, और उसमें भी काफी, जिस तरह बालाकोट एयर स्ट्राइक में एयरफोर्स का रोल रहा उससे कहीं ज्यादा, क्योंकि जो स्पेक्ट्रम ऑफ ऑपरेशन था वो काफी लंबा था और काफी लंबा ऑपरेशन चले भी है। तो एयरफोर्स टू हैड अ वेरी ग्रेट स्टोरी टू बी विच इज रिक्वायर्ड टू बी टोल्ड। और सबसे बड़ा जो गनर्स थे जो वहां पे बॉम्बार्डिंग कर रहे थे, उनकी भी स्टोरीज बहुत इंटरेस्टिंग है। सो आई विश कि मैं पलटन बाय पलटन कारगिल की स्टोरीज को लोगों के सामने ला सकूं. मैं थोड़ा और एक आई एम डूइंग वन मोर रिसर्च की मैंने प्राइमा फेसी रिसर्च पूरी कर ली है अबाउट स्टेट फोर्सेस रोल. जो प्रायर टू इंडिपेंडेंस जो स्टेट फोर्सेस जैसे कि बड़ौदा स्टेट था, जैसे कि यहाँ सौराष्ट्र में देयर वर सो मेनी स्टेट्स, उनकी भी भावनगर स्टेट था, उनकी स्टेट फोर्सेस जो थी वो इवेंचुअली इंडियन आर्मी में मर्ज हुई है, कुछ डिस्बैंड भी हुई है. और जो मर्ज हुई है उनमें मैंने एक वीडियो देखा था 11 आई थिंक 11 ग्रेनेडियर्स का, जिसमें कि अभी भी गुजराती कंपनी एक है और उसमें ड्यूरिंग नवरात्रि दे प्ले गरबा. So soldiers playing Garba was a very interesting thing for me. It inspired me कि मैं स्टेट फोर्सेस का किस तरह अमलगमेशन हुआ, कौन कौन सी स्टेट फोर्सेस किस आर्मी के किस यूनिट में गई और उनकी क्या क्या अभी किस तरह उनकी मिलिट्री हिस्ट्री पिछले वॉर्स में क्या रही है. सो ये मेरा थोड़ा सा इंटरेस्ट है मैम.
नहीं, आप ये सब कुछ लिखेंगे तो you are going to do such a great service to the nation because we need to know these stories. And I wish you can come with a anthology on brave hearts, maybe stories on brave hearts, and we need to know all that. And through you, coming from you, it will be such a big thing for us, really. One of the questions which has just come up is that from Nikhil Pandya, that how long it took for the decision to execute Balakot Airstrike. How long did it take? I mean, it was a very complex, and since you know the story behind it, so how long did it take to execute something?
The decision was taken by PM. He was the sole decision maker. Let me tell you, even during 26/11 attack, 26/11 attack, when Mumbai was attacked, I was there at PT station. Air Force was ready. Armed forces were ready to attack terror hideouts and destroy them. But the government of the day never ever given a go ahead. But यहाँ पे मोदी जी ने CCS की पहली ही मीटिंग जो कि नेक्स्ट डे हुई, इस आतंकी हमले 3-3:30 बजे आतंकी हमला हुआ और नेक्स्ट डे CCS की अर्ली मॉर्निंग मीटिंग ली गई. उन्होंने ये कहा कि एक ही शब्द, देखिए जवाब तो देना होगा. He said in CCS meeting, he addressed the chief of army staff, he addressed the chief of air staff, the other chiefs, and there were CRPF chief, there were police chief, DGP, all of them were present. Even NSA was there, NSA, Mr. Ajit Doval was there, defense minister was there. He's a man of few words, a leader. India has maybe the best leader that India has today. He said कि जवाब तो देना होगा पर आप बेहतर जानते हैं कि क्या कर सकते हैं. ये ना एक सेंटेंस it shows his leadership qualities. उन्होंने पूरा छोड़ दिया फौज के ऊपर कि आप बेहतर जानते हैं क्या कर सकते हैं.
देखिए इससे बड़ी बात क्या हो सकती है? To have confidence in the forces. Yeah, that is most important. I have Mr. Vijay Shankar, who's an advocate in the interactive round. I'd like him to switch on his video and ask you a question directly. Mr. Vijay Shankar. Yes, Vijay.
Jai Hind, sir.
Jai Hind, Vijay, sir.
Am I audible?
Yes, definitely.
I am from Rashtriya Military School, Ajmer.
Okay, sir. Great.
I'm the only lawyer from my class. My class has given more than 17 officers to the armed forces and almost 4 to the paramilitary.
Sir. Great speaking to you.
I have 2 questions if you allow me.
Ji, definitely. Please go ahead.
One, many experts told us after the surgical strikes that our armored forces were actually overexposed by the government. Like, what do you feel? Should the government have kept these operations classified, both the surgical strikes classified? My second question is that most of the experts agree that it is the Pakistani army, which is the Pakistani army establishment, which is the main perpetrator of international terrorism as well as terrorism against India. Despite that, in our own strategic circles, there is a general refrain from attacking the uniformed personnel of Pakistan in retaliation. Like there's a general refrain. We all often confine our operations to the terrorist elements. Do you think that this is going to solve the problem unless until we take the body bags all the way to the Rawalpindi headquarters?
these two are very valid questions, because at national level there is a sentiment, there has been a discussion. मैंने कहा, जैसे ही आपने पहले भी पूछा था कि मिलिट्री की जो प्रतिबद्धता है उस पे थोड़ा सवाल तो उठाए गए हैं इंडिया में। मैं ये नहीं कहता हूँ कि मिलिट्री शुड नॉट बी, चेक्स एंड बैलेंसेस डेमोक्रेसी में हमेशा होने चाहिए सर, मैं आपकी बात से पूरा सहमत हूँ। सो अगर मैं आपका सेकंड क्वेश्चन को पहले लूँ, सो एक्चुअली दोनों क्वेश्चन बहुत डिटेल्ड है, तो मैं पहले सेकंड क्वेश्चन को लेता हूँ कि सर कुछ सेना के अंदर देयर आर सर्टेन बाउंड्रीज, देयर आर सर्टेन थिंग्स विच कि इस तरह से वी विल डील विथ एन एनिमी, एंड इस तरह से हम नहीं करेंगे। एक नेशनल पॉलिसी होती है, एक मिलिट्री पॉलिसी, एक टेक अवे होता है। सो वी स्टिक टू दैट। एंड आप जो बॉडी बैग्स की बात कर रहे हैं वो बड़ी दुखद है पूरे देश के लिए। एंड इंडिया is only country in the world probably which is faced with 2 nuclear armed neighbors. So while dealing with 2 strong nuclear armed neighbors, you have to be very circumspect and careful. आप ऐसे ही जिस तरह से हम पब्लिक में बात करते हैं उतना इजीली चीजों को कर नहीं सकते, और बिकॉज हमारे जो रिसोर्सेस हैं दे आर लिमिटेड। और इन दोनों एनिमीज को हमेशा ये पक्का याद रखना है सर हमें कि हमें अपनी कैपेबिलिटीज से लड़ना है। we do not want to play in their own, उनकी हाथ में हम गेम चला जाए उस तरह, we do not wish to play, and Pakistan, as we know, that they have nothing to lose, so attacking the military would be an act of war, and directly by the forces. So हम इतनी जल्दी नहीं चाहते कि हम खुद ही प्रोपेल करके एक पाकिस्तान के साथ युद्ध खेल दे। आतंकी हमले का जवाब देने की अब तक कोई प्रक्रिया या कोई प्रोसेस इंडिया में लोगों को पता नहीं थी कि हाउ विल इंडिया बी रिस्पॉन्डिंग टू टेरर अटैक्स ऑन इट्स होम सॉइल्स। कोई डिस्कशंस भी नहीं होते थे। बट सिंस 2016 सर्जिकल स्ट्राइक्स थिंग्स हैव चेंज। एक एंटायर नया स्पेक्ट्रम खोल दिया गया है कि हम घर में घुसेंगे और मारेंगे। सो इट हैज अ डिट्रीमेंटल अटैक effect on the enemy, and they are thinking twice before, they will be thinking twice before attacking India again. मैं ये नहीं कहता हूँ कि टेरर अटैक्स नहीं होंगे, जैसे कि हमने देखा कि ड्रोन अटैक्स हुए हैं, किंतु ड्रोन के अगेंस्ट में हम भी अपनी टेक्नोलॉजी और चीजों को इम्प्रूव कर रहे हैं, और हम सिटिंग डक तो नहीं रहे। इंडिया इज नो लॉन्गर अ सिटिंग डक। अब जैसे पहला क्वेश्चन, सेकंड क्वेश्चन है, उसका आंसर खत्म होते ही दूसरा उससे रिलेटेड और कनेक्टेड इसलिए आ रहा है पहला क्वेश्चन कि सर आप जैसे कह रहे हैं कि एक्सपोजर की अगर बात करें, सो इंडिया में एक टैबू होता था जब मैं सर्विस में था। आर्म फोर्सेस को बैक बर्नर पे रखा जाता था, उनको रिस्पेक्ट भी नहीं थी, और कई बार एट मेनी प्लेसेस उन्हें उनके हाथ भी खोले नहीं जाते थे। सो वो चीजें ठीक नहीं थी, और it would not be correct for me to comment politically on previous governments, but as I have served for 15 years from 1997 to 2012, I know that the respect that the soldier of the day has today, the serving and the veteran, was never there, was never shown by the general public. So each and every soldier deserves respect. US में आप जाएंगे, veterans को कितनी respect है, Veterans Day, थैंक्स गिविंग में कितना कितना रिस्पेक्ट दिया जाता है। वो इसलिए ऐसा नहीं है कि वो रिस्पेक्ट कहीं हवा से आती है। people of the country, any country realizes कि this veterans, this soldiers, the serving, they have made so much of sacrifice for the country. When every story comes out in public with proper respect and honor that they deserve, these people deserve, these soldiers deserve, that the respect slowly grows. तो पिछले 7 सालों में मैं फिर से एपॉलिटिकल होकर ही कह रहा हूँ कि पिछले 7 वर्षों में ये आई हैव बीन अ सिविलियन, जो कि अभी मैं एक वेटरन हूँ, बट मैं सिविलियन भी हूँ बिकॉज मेरा खुद का प्रोफेशन है। मैं एक आम सिविलियन की तरह इन्हीं गलियों में लोगों के साथ बैठता हूँ, चाय पीता हूँ। मेरे वेटरन फ्रेंड्स भी हैं, सर्विंग भी हैं, बट I'm more connected due to my profession. I'm more connected with civilians. मैं NRI से भी मिलता हूँ because ये मैं बोल रहा हूँ ना सर कि मैं as a profession में I meet so many people during a single day. Or it's been 9 years since I retired, and I know that वो respect का जो राइज होना है ना, वो 2016 की सर्जिकल स्ट्राइक और इसके पहले भी काफी सारा मिलिट्री को रिस्पेक्ट दिया गया, मिलिट्री के साथ, आर्मी के साथ, नेवी एयरफोर्स के साथ दिवाली और ये सब मनाया गया, ये धीरे धीरे रिस्पेक्ट राइज हुई है. और आई डोंट थिंक एनीबडी इन इंडिया वुड से कि द मिलिट्री डजंट डिजर्व द रिस्पेक्ट दैट दे आर गेटिंग राइट नाउ. सो एक्सपोजर इसलिए ताकि उनको रिस्पेक्ट मिल सके, ये बड़ा जरूरी है सर. और सीक्रेसी ये क्या होता है पता है सर, इस सीक्रेसी और इस सीक्रेट के चक्कर में 62 की वॉर वो पॉइंट 303 से लड़नी पड़ी थी. अगर हम इस सीक्रेट और सीक्रेसी के चक्कर में नहीं रहते तो अपने आर्म्स अभी तक बना रहे होते, मेक इन इंडिया कर रहे होते. सीक्रेट और सीक्रेसी ने ही इंडिया में लोकल इंडस्ट्रियल लेवल पे आर्म्स मैन्युफैक्चरिंग को रोका है. हमें बहुत गहरी गर्ता में डाल दिया है, उसमें से सर निकलना पड़ेगा हमें. दिस इज व्हाट आई थिंक. थैंक यू
सो मच सर. And many congratulations for your book, and I'm looking forward to read it. मैं भी देख रहा हूँ अब जो है जितने जल्दी इसको जो है पढ़ा जा सके.
जी विजय.
Thank you so much, sir.
All the best, sir.
All the best for your future ventures.
Thank you Vijay sir. All the best, sir.
Manan, I really will like to really salute you for your dedication and devotion to India, and you're doing the kind of service. You're doing the kind of service which is instilling a lot of national spirit in common citizens. And please continue writing such books. They are the need of the hour, especially this book that I'll be finishing it tonight, definitely. It's a wonderful book, and it is available on Garuda Prakashan online, and you can find it on any of the websites. And I really would like to thank you for such an amazing conversation on 2019 Balakot Airstrike, which is so much part of us. And thank you once again for being with us today.
Thank you so much, Neeta ma'am. Trends is doing a wonderful job to get the story behind the story. बुक के पीछे की स्टोरी को लोगों के सामने लाने की आप जो कोशिश कर रहे हैं, और मेरे लिए खासकर ये इंटरव्यू बहुत ही ज्यादा इमोशनल रहा. आई एम सॉरी कि मैं थोड़ा सोल्जर हूँ, थोड़ा इमोशनल हो जाता हूँ. हम लोग बाहर से थोड़े टफ रहते हैं, बट अंदर से थोड़ा सा जब व्हेन आई एम रिमाइंडेड ऑफ माय फॉलन ब्रदर्स, ये थोड़ा सा है. एंड आप जो नीता मैम आप जो काम कर रहे हैं, इट इज एन अमेजिंग वर्क. कीप कंटिन्यू मैम. आपसे मिलने का बहुत मुझे आनंद आया, एंड फिर से भी मैं आशा रखता हूँ कि बहुत जल्दी फिर से मिलने का भी मौका मिले.
But we are very proud of you, and the kind of work we are doing, we are not even doing 1% of what you are doing for the country. And I just appreciate your emotions and what you did in the conversation today. And this YouTube video will be on the channel next week, and I really hope a lot of people watch it and come to know you, come to know your work, and we look forward to much more work by you. And thank you, Garuda Prakashan, for connecting us with Manan. And all the best to you, Manan, and thanks to the audience. Thanks to everyone who was part of this amazing conversation today. We are really proud to have a Navy man like you. Everybody is writing. Thank you, Jay. From all of us. Thank you.
Love the way he spoke. I'm so proud here. I can't tell you as a native person with such and so much of passion. It's so nice. Nice to talk to you. We were just Twitter friends. But
सर ये बस आपके जैसे सर सुपीरियर्स और सीनियर्स का आशीर्वाद है सर. आई कुड राइट बिकॉज मैंने सर मैम आप भी सुनिए, ये बुक को मैंने 4 सुपीरियर ऑफिसर्स को रिव्यू के लिए भेजी थी, और शुरू के ड्राफ्ट्स के बाद तो बहुत डंडे पड़े थे मैम. मैंने वाइस एडमिरल बीके कौल सर को भेजी थी, मेजर जनरल रणधीर सिंह कुंवर साहब, रणधीर सिंह जो कि राजपीपला स्टेट है सर, उनको भेजी थी. एयर वाइस मार्शल NN शाह सर को भेजी थी, और विंग कमांडर निकुंज भट्ट मेरे काका हैं, उनको भेजी थी. और शुरू इनिशियल ड्राफ्ट्स में तो ये क्या तूने चैप्टर्स डाल दिए हैं, निकाल इनको. कौल सर वाज वेरी स्ट्रिक्ट, he was my boss when I served. So मैं उनका coxswain था. So बहुत सारे chapters मैंने निकाले और it's due to only my सर्विस, नेवी की जो सर्विस है उसका जो मेरा ग्रूमिंग रहा, और खासकर सर जो अभी भी मुझे जैसे राजेश सर आज पूरा सर इज रिटायर्ड कैप्टन फ्रॉम नेवी और सर ने सबमरीन कमांड की है. सो इसी तरह हौसला अफजाई हमारे सीनियर सुपीरियर्स करते हैं, तभी हम काम कर पा रहे हैं मैम और सर.
Thank you, Rajesh ji, for coming in today.
No, I was definitely, I never miss anything. In fact, I was been telling Manan that all these op-eds which he writes in the Gujarati papers, he needs to get them into the English papers. But he is very happy in Gujarat with his. Anyway, I'm glad what you're doing. We are very regular with each other on Twitter, so I follow him. There was no way I would have missed this.
Amazing. I mean, the way he spoke, I was getting goosebumps, and I was feeling so motivated and charged and proud to be an Indian, and the kind of work he's doing without being in service, and he's already doing his own work, and I think a lot of people should know. Many more people need to know about him.
Very important thing which he said was that he may have retired, but he's still a soldier. That you can never take it out of blood. Even I served for 31 years. I can't. I mean, like him, I've served on many submarines. I've been captain of a ship also.
Yes,
command bases. We've been lucky. I think we belong to a very wonderful service, and but I still work with the Navy, and I can agree with Manan. I think the work that without getting political, the work which is happening now is much better. It's much more focused. So if this process started 30 years ago, we would have been a different nation. I mean, I'll just leave it at that. So thanks, Manan. Very, very proud of you. So happy to be your fellow Navy.
It's an honor, sir. Thank you, sir.
I'd
be blessed, sir.
I served on only one ship. That was a steamship. So you cannot include MEs. MEs are the gods of the steamship. He knows it very well.
Thank you, sir.
Hello. Keep in touch. Nice to talk. Nice talking. Thank you, ma'am.
Jai Hind, Jai Hind. Thank you. Thank you so much for being part of this session.
Bye.
Bye, sir.